The town of Farmington. Respecting history, planning the future.
The meeting to order, and would ask you all to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Jeff, could you lead us tonight?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have two proclamations tonight. First of all, we have the Veterans Day proclamation. John?
Good evening. I had the pleasure this afternoon of attending a Veterans Day luncheon put on by the Rotary Club. The Rotary Club puts it on every year, and it was a wonderful event. We had probably about 30 to 35 veterans there in town, and they ranged in age from age 25 all the way up to age 92. And it was an hour-and-a-half event. We got to hear different stories from the different veterans. Many of them were very reluctant to talk about the service that they provided to our country, as many veterans are. I know my grandfather served in France, and I never heard one story from him. But the sacrifice that these men and women and their families make is just unbelievable, undeniable. It gives us the freedoms that we enjoy here in this country. It provides the democracy that you see here in this room for all of us, and it's nothing that we should ever take for granted. So tomorrow is a day of reflection. It's a day to give thanks and appreciation to our veterans. So it gives me great pleasure and honor to read this proclamation tonight from the town of Farmington. So with that, proclamation. Whereas the citizens of our country are justly proud of the men and women who have fought to defend the principles of liberty and freedom on which our nation was founded, and whereas from the Revolutionary era militias through today's sophisticated defense structure, American service members have defended our country in times of challenge, brought honor to the United States, and created a solid foundation for its continued security, growth, and prosperity. And whereas, despite the tremendous perils and pressures of wartime, our armed forces have defended the country with conviction and courage. In admiration of the strength of our convictions, other nations have looked to America for leadership, and our allies have always been secure in the knowledge that our proud country will not allow its principles and beliefs to be compromised. And whereas the citizens of the United States will forever owe an immense debt of gratitude to our veterans for the sacrifices they have made to secure the safety of our country. And whereas, as an expression of that gratitude, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed into law an act calling for the observance of Veterans Day on November 11th of each year. And in 1921, that date was originally designated as Armistice Day in remembrance of the end of World War I and as a perpetual reminder of the blessings of peace. And by 1954, the observance widened to honor the courageous veterans of all foreign conflicts. And whereas our veterans reflect the preeminent qualities of patriotism and courage in all of us and continue to make countless contributions to military and civilian life. In addition, many men and women from Connecticut National Guard are serving in Iraq or Afghanistan or are scheduled to be deployed there shortly, along with many other Connecticut residents serving with the United States Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, and the Coast Guard. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Farmington Town Council hereby thanks the many contributions and accomplishments of all of our veterans. Dated at Farmington, Connecticut, this 10th day of November 2015, signed Nancy Nickerson, Chair of the Farmington Town Council. Thank you.
Thank you, John. And just, it is in our report later, but tomorrow at 11 o'clock, we are having a ceremony in front of the town hall, as we do every year for the veterans. And they place a wreath, and we have a little ceremony there at 11 a.m. So if anyone wanted to attend, we welcome everyone. We have a second proclamation tonight, and this is honoring services for the elderly. Nancy, could I have you come up? Nancy Walker? The reason I'm bringing Nancy up, she is the in charge of services for the elderly, and she has been for a number of years now. In 1965, there were two Farmington residents, Hope Emery and Dorothy Sinclair. They began a program designed to visit the homebound seniors. 50 years later, this organization has expanded the services to seniors in many ways. The mission is to assist older citizens with maintaining their desired home lifestyle relative to meals, transportation, socialization, and home medical equipment and maintenance. This has brought about the Meals on Wheels program, home visiting, friendly shoppers, rides to the doctor, and many other programs dedicated to helping seniors stay at home. The Loan Closet, which has medical equipment to borrow, has been an amazing addition that is actually known regionally. There are many other towns that come in and that use our Loan Closet, and it's just grown tremendously. And it's something I'm proud to say we were able to help Nancy this year to end services for the elderly to building a shed out and back to house it. There was just too much equipment. I mean, this equipment is everything from walkers to beds to all kinds of things that people donate and that are there to use for the town, our town of Farmington, and others as well. In addition to services for the elderly, this organization has brought about an awareness of needs in our community and an enhancement of connections with many age groups. The connections with the seniors and the schools is amazing. This is really a special one where the seniors go out to the schools to concerts, and the kids have helped with Meals on Wheels. So it really has brought about a combination of people getting together and really having an amazing relationship. In 1991, Nancy Walker became our director. She has done an amazing job, and the reason this organization works so smoothly and the reason that our volunteers, which are in the hundreds, are so committed is, I think, because of Nancy and her limitless energy, her dedication, her compassion, and her caring for the citizens of Farmington. She's always thinking of what else can be done to help the seniors. So tonight, on behalf of the town, I would like to read a proclamation for Nancy for the services for the elderly. And also, we do have our new president, Marcy Shepard, here. If you'd like to come up, Marcy. I was involved in services for the elderly for many years and was a past president. And I can assure you that services for the elderly is in great hands with Marcy Shepard. She's done so many new innovative things there and have connected people to the community. It's absolutely wonderful. So, Marcy, it's great to have you at the head. The proclamation, whereas the Services for the Elderly is a nonprofit agency that is dedicated to Farmington's older citizens by helping them remain at home. And whereas the Services for the Elderly offers programs such as Meals on Wheels, friendly visitors, shoppers, transportation to medical appointments, and by loaning donated, used medical equipment to those in need. And whereas the Services for the Elderly is a network of many volunteers guided by Nancy Walker, the executive director, and whereas the town's social services are enhanced by the additional services offered through Services for the Elderly, and whereas the Services for the Elderly is celebrating its 50th anniversary of providing instrumental activities of daily living for our residents in need. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that the town of Farmington is very appreciative of the additional direct services provided to the elderly population, and thanks to all the volunteers for taking the time to help those in need. The town of Farmington congratulates and offers its sincerest thanks to the Services for the Elderly for its positive impact on the local community in the town of Farmington. Dated at Farmington, Connecticut, this 10th day of November, 2015, Nancy Nickerson, Chair of the Farmington Town Council.
Forget your hat. Your medical hat.
Farmington.
Thank you.
Sure.
Nancy,
Go
I just
ahead,
want to, thank you, say that the loan closet, by the way, is open to everyone, non-seniors, and we actually took advantage of that last year when my daughter shattered her hip. Nancy and her staff were great. We were able to obtain a walker for my daughter and a shower seat. So it's available for everyone, including children. It's a great asset to the town.
Great point. Thanks, Jeff. Okay. Public hearing none. New items. Public comment. At this time, I'd ask if anyone would like to address the council, and please just give us your name and address, and you have a 5-minute limit. You can come up and come to the podium if you'd like, if anyone has a comment. Okay. Reading of the minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes from the regular town council meeting held on October 13, 2015.
Second.
Any corrections or changes?
Nope.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. No communications. Next, report of committees. We did have a Yukon committee meeting last Friday, or a week ago Friday, the 30th of October. And we got some information that everything is on schedule, everything's moving along well, and we have nothing new going on other than just the building, which is not just, there's a lot with many buildings, but everything's going on schedule and going well, so we're very pleased to be able to say that. Land Acquisition Committee. No, we have executive session. Yep. Green Efforts. John.
So the Green Efforts Committee is beginning to plan for its activities for 2016. Surely what's going to be part of that effort is the Farmington Cleanups Day, which will be scheduled in either late April or early May, as it has in the past. In addition, we are looking at some other programs to move forward with. One activity that is happening that's kind of, we're sort of catching up, is back in 2013, the town made pledges as to what it was going to do for its energy use. And specifically, we were looking to reduce our energy use by 20% by 2018. What we're doing right now is working with Eversource to put in benchmarks. We've made significant efforts in attaining these reductions through the MS Grow project that we completed already, and you'll see that. But in addition, we'll make other recommendations for energy reductions so that we meet those pledges.
Great. Thank you. Joint Town of Farmington, City of Hartford. Any update, Kathy?
You do have it in the manager's report, but just that the committee is moving forward again after some stalling, some changeover with the City of Hartford and the administration, but the committee has met over the last couple of months, and I'm sure in fiscal year 16 we'll have a longer report, and we're hopeful that the project in the Batterson Park piece of property will be going out to bid on it soon. So.
Great. Good. Bicycle Advisory Committee.
So most of the activity right now is working through the Traffic Advisory Committee aimed at identifying roads to be either signed, like River Road, or painted with sharrows, like is likely going to happen at Copper Mine, to allow people to understand what roads are best designated for bicycling and to make bicyclists and drivers aware of there's safety issues around those bicycle-friendly areas. So those will be ongoing and will continue on into the spring.
Okay. Gateway Committee.
Nancy, we met on November 5th, and at that time, we approved the final report from the consultant. And we also voted to present that report to the town council at the next town council meeting. And this is just a presentation of the report and an acceptance of the report. It's not an endorsement by the council or a commitment to do anything with it. but just, well, we wanted to report on it. And if I could actually defer to Amy if she has anything to add, that would be great.
Just that these are open meetings. We always have a very large audience, and they're very engaged, and I think we're all very excited about the direction that it's going in. It's really all been a very positive experience. So you'll all see what we're doing come December, and then we'll make it to the next phase. So.
Yep, and then we'll be presenting a plan for Phase 2.
Right.
Oh,
Phase 2 would be a request for additional resources to hire a consultant to take the conceptual ideas that the community presented and to codify it into a development plan that could be refined and eventually presented to the Town Planning and Zoning Commission for adoption. And that would essentially master plan the development concepts for the gateway area as defined by the committee.
great. Thank you. Okay, webpage committee.
The web page committee is rolling along. We're in our, I guess what you'd call the final design stage. They've put forward a couple designs. Erica did a good job at ripping apart the first one. So we're just working through that and coming up with finalizations. Erica and Brian have met with all of the departments and have their needs, including the Economic Development Commission. So we don't have a meeting on the books yet, but we should have a meeting soon to kind of go over the next steps, but moving along.
Thank you. Okay, report of the chair. Just a couple of things. One, a very important day was the groundbreaking for the burn building. That was really wonderful. Unfortunately, it was not a good day out. We had to have it inside, so it was a new kind of a groundbreaking without dirt. We still had shovels. But it's really been a wonderful undertaking from Avon and Farmington, and it just shows you how two towns can work together collaboratively and come up with the finances and the staff to, we work together with the the town employees in Avon and Farmington, the fire departments, and with the town managers, of course. And really, it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful result. So we all look forward to coming to the actual ribbon cutting in the spring. And it was a very festive groundbreaking. So thank you all for your help and donations for the in-kind and monetary, but for this. So we really appreciate that. Board of Education liaison.
The Board of Ed, since our last meeting, had a special meeting on November 4th, and the meat and potatoes of that meeting was regarding the Charles House and the design as it relates to Union School. And the board met and deliberated and discussed for several hours, and ultimately came up with their own adjustments that they wanted to see, and it was passed. I believe their vote was 5-1, and they moved those adjustments to the TPZ. Again, it was about 3 hours of discussion, so I'd recommend going back and looking at the tape, which you can now do, or reading the minutes to get all of the information, but that's about it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. UVIA.
Just that the planning for the Jingle Bell Jubilee is underway. It will be on December 5th in Unionville, and I believe UVIA has already asked the town of Farmington for some support, which is in Kathy's manager's report.
Mm-hmm. Great. TPZ. I'm going to report on two things. I was at the meeting last night. One thing that happened, not particularly last night, but is underway that I wanted to just report out is that McGillicuddy's, which is in Unionville, they're underway with renovation there for a new restaurant and bar. So that's moving along now. So that'll be great to see. You can all see the work going on there. So, but last night at the town council, the Charles House project was moved forward unanimously. The TPZ voted unanimously to move forward with the project, and a couple of the things that there are some things that the council is going to be directly involved with. one of which is getting together with the Board of Ed and the town to make sure that Tungus Hose, the carnival and fireworks continue as they have in the past. That's I think about 100-year festival, and we're going to continue to make sure that works with the changes that are happening at Union School. There are many other things that we will be keeping an eye on, and the thing that I want to say that is very, very important for the community to know is that the town council will work collaboratively with the school board and with the town to keep an eye on things and to also do what we can to make sure that this is a very positive undertaking for the town. And I just think that we all need to be keeping an eye on things as, you know, with the citizens that live around in the area, with the school, and we all want this to move forward in a positive way for our town now that the TPC has passed it. Water pollution control.
WPCA met last week on the facility upgrade project, and I don't want to steal Kathy's thunder, that's also under the manager's report, and she just has some updates that she'll be going over from that meeting.
Okay. EDC.
Nothing to report. The next EDC meeting is a week from tomorrow, November 18th.
Okay, thank you. Human relations.
We met last night. We had our yearly meeting at New Horizons, and it was a really positive evening. It's our dialogue with the residents at New Horizons. Matt Bloom from the town was there, and he did a wonderful job talking to them about the sidewalks and the updates that are going to happen and the inconvenience to them. And it was, again, real good dialogue. We have our representative from the police department, Dan. He's always wonderful. Mike D'Amico was there. I was there. The whole commission was there. And there was just a lot of listening and just getting a sense of what their issues were. We heard, as I said, we talked a lot about the sidewalks. There's always a request for more public transportation. Nancy Parent was there, and there was a lot of explanation as what we can and can't do. And Mike D'Amico talked a lot, because a lot of that was state. We talked about the Gateway Commission at length. We're always talking about the Gateway Commission, and the commission is thrilled with how really responsive the commission, as well as Jeff, has been to the issue, the accessibility issues. So overall, I think that crowd's very happy. And as usual, we're already talking about snow and how there are certain people that don't always take care of the sidewalks, and how that really disadvantages these people, because it's amazing that they are regularly going into Unionville and using the stores and the activities in Unionville. And when someone doesn't clear a sidewalk, they're stranded. But it was just a really positive night. I think everyone felt really good about the exchange, and they know that they are definitely listened to, and I'm there as representative of the town. So, I can then, any concerns, touch base with all of you and Kathy and just help. So it was a good night, lots of meetings.
Great, thank you very much. I know that they feel they're well, represented with everything, because it's particularly with the new things coming out, which we'll talk about in Kathy's report, but, of keeping an eye on making sure they have access to.
Yeah. But I mean, what I noted is how Matt Bloom is on a first name basis with half of the people there. I mean, that's fantastic. Everyone's so comfortable with regular phone calls. They really feel like the town of it's not only responsive, but these are people who are looking out for them. And that's a testament to Kathy, your leadership, honestly. So.
Chamber of Commerce.
The Chamber of Commerce is going to have their third annual business summit on November 18th from 7:30 to 11, and that's going to be at the Hartford Marriott in Farmington, which is at 15 Farm Springs. It's $50 to attend for non-members, $40 to attend for members, and they are still looking for sponsors. So if you're interested in sponsoring that event, you can go to the website. I think it's farmingtonchamber.org, and sign up there. And then they have their business after hours, which is normally held on Wednesdays, but due to Veterans Day, they have moved it to Thursday. So their business after hours will be this Thursday at La Belle Chateau at 55 Mill Street. And that usually starts about 5 p.m. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other liaison reports? Okay, report of the town manager, Kathy.
You have the written report in front of you, just a couple of things. Again, Nancy, you had mentioned that we are having a short ceremony tomorrow at 11 a.m. In front at the town hall at the memorial, so everyone is welcome to attend. Second is we are having a town council reception on December 8th. That's the next meeting, so at 6:30, between 6:30 and 7 p.m. So that would be prior to our meeting, so 6:30 to 7. I did give a short report on the Tennessee Gas Pipeline Project, which you asked for, and attached a map for you all on that.
Kathy, could I ask you a question about that?
Of course.
So I'm a little bit confused.
Okay.
I saw the map.
Yep.
And it lays out two small pipelines in northern Farmington, near
Yep.
Mountain Spring Road.
Yep.
But when we received the letter from the MDC commissioner, he talked about the pipeline impacting and traversing over both Route 6 and Route 4.
Is incorrect.
So this MDC person doesn't have it correct?
Correct.
All right.
Correct.
Russ? Yeah.
John, the new line that you see in that map, that's
Yep.
the proposed, there's two sections.
Yep.
The existing, I'm good, thank you. The existing line does traverse across Route 4 at the jug handle, then over across Route 6.
Right.
But there is no work planned on that section, through those sections. It's only in those two small sections that you see along Old Mountain Road.
Okay.
What's
That's it.
What seems what's confusing at first is that the second line is going the West Hartford way. It's not coming the Farmington way. So if
Okay.
it was coming to the Farmington way, he would have been correct. But because it's not coming the Farmington way, it's only going the West Hartford way. That's why. But the existing line is already in Farmington.
Right, I know the existing line was in Farmington, but, and so the vast majority of the existing line is not going to be touched.
Correct.
Right.
They're just going to do a few spots, and they're going to put I'm hearing that they're going to put a second pipeline in,
Yes.
Correct,
which is going to go to the east of us.
correct, absolutely.
All right.
That's it. It'll be one continuous pipe at that connection point south of Old Mountain Road. And it will, then from there, it'll traverse all the way through West Hartford and the points north.
Thank you.
Russ, it looks like there's just two residents that are relatively close, both of which on Larkin's Way. Have we spoken to those owners? Like, when you look around the two areas,
Yeah, it's,
I mean, they're, both of them look like they're in protected land and there's no houses nearby.
Right.
There's just two on Larkin's that look relatively close. Just,
and they are, on that scale, they're the closest, but they are
Right.
probably 2,000 feet away, thereabouts. But when the time comes, this is still going through its whole process. We'll let everyone know in that area what's going on.
will it have any impact on their, at least how long will the whole construction take? And it will have any impact on their basic, they're getting to and from work, any kind of utilities, any?
They follow our road cut process, you know, and anything to obstruct and work in any road, it'll follow anything that we have to do, you know, so there'll be minimal impacts to our residents and people traveling through town.
Okay.
So it's, yeah, there could be some delay at some point in time, but for the minor part of work in town, it's not going to be, it'll be minimal.
And they'll be warned ahead of time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay?
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Russ.
You also have in the packet the quarterly reports where I reported on the town council and the town manager's 33 goals. As you can see, it's our normal reporting structure where the front page names the goal, and then not every section has an attachment, but there's about, I think, 16 or 17 attachments. One thing, while I have Russ here, I just maybe wanted to talk a little bit, because it's always of interest, is attachment 2 is our state projects, the DOT projects. And just want to give kudos to Russ and his staff, the engineering staff, and I know when you read the report that really, even though some of these are state projects, the town is monitoring them and managing them. And if you look at the summary of the pending work, the engineering people have really, all summer and into the winter for the last year or so, have been working incredibly hard to continue to move these projects forward. And, there's just a ton of work, as you all know, going in town. And we're going to see, I think, over the next year or so, these projects being completed. And you'll see the bridge finally over Roaring Brook. That's the Sanford and Hawley project. That's wrapping up right now. And we'll see a little bit of work in the spring, but that's 95% complete. Our Trails project, which is over Route 6 and the bridge, that you're actually going to see construction of the bridge happening. The New Britain Avenue project, that's down on New Britain Avenue at the intersection. That we've just signed contract with the consultants, and the design is starting on that. Our Route 4 corridor is a large study, and the study's underway. We also received another grant for our South Road project, and that's going to be taking place in the spring and the summer. So they're just, again, a kudos to Russ and the group, because there is just an incredible amount of work going on in town, and I think that they're doing a really good job managing it, trying to keep them on target. And so that's been very active over the summer into the fall. The rest of the reports, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have on anyone in particular.
Any questions?
So I have a question relative to the state projects.
Yep.
And Russ, you may be able to help on this. So I understood that the state has indicated that they will now allow a crosswalk across South Main Street at the bike path. And so I understand that's going to be part of the design. Do you know if there's any way that that can be moved forward without the whole project?
It's a very difficult question to answer. We are working right now to we have 4 locations where we want to put that same type of crosswalk in. So we are trying to work with the DOT to either fund it somehow so we can get the lighting in. It'll be a push-button activated crosswalk, which, as you indicated, it's been approved. We tried years ago, and we were denied. As everyone crosses there, it's the obvious place to cross. So we are working to try and get that moved ahead of the project, the actual New Britain Avenue 177 intersection project. So we're trying.
Thank you.
No problem.
Before you leave, I have another question.
Sure, go ahead.
On the Main Street, the new sidewalks.
Mm-hmm.
So in the write-up here, it talks about the new sidewalks going up to Keene Place. I've seen other places where they talk about a new sidewalk going up to West District Road.
It's going to West District Road.
Okay,
The original a grant that we applied for brought it up to Keene Place, and we've since extended it to West District Road.
okay, so West District Road is the,
West District Road 177 is and we're going to start just south of the Depot Place driveway entrance. There's the 51269, the New Britain Avenue 177 project. That project will go up to through that intersection. We've included the scope for that project to go up to the Depot Place driveway. So instead of duplicating work and pouring new, we figured we push our project and go further south.
Yep.
And let the state help pay for that driveway.
good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just a quick sidewalk question. If you're putting new sidewalks into town and they are in front of homeowners' homes, how does that process work? Because the homeowner is then responsible for the sidewalks.
Correct.
So, I mean, real quick, could you just go over how that process
As
works?
quick as I can. Our ordinance in town requires all homeowners that they're responsible for the maintenance and replacement, any upkeep for that sidewalk, snow removal, ice control, everything. What we've done is, because of the large usage of this section, we applied for the grant, so there will be no cost to those homeowners. Instead of us going out and saying, we send out letters and we do inspections and on joints and ADA requirements, so it's not trip hazard for walking pedestrians, people in wheelchairs, mobile devices. With this section, that was, I think, the big focus, and why we were accepted and approved for the grant was because of the mobility users that we have there. So that grant will pay for that sidewalk, so we will not have to go back and tell people, now you have to pay for the sidewalk.
But it will be maintained by the people?
It will be maintained by the people,
Understood.
correct, by the new abutters, or by the current abutters with the new sidewalk.
And is there like a public hearing process for that, or do we just send them a letter and say?
Yep, we've held a public hearing, I think it was last Wednesday.
Not a public hearing, we held an
Public informational meeting, sorry, public
Yeah,
informational meeting.
Yep, they had an
I apologize.
informational meeting already
Yep.
on it. And they already maintain the sidewalk anyway, but
Sure.
then they would been informed that they're getting a new sidewalk.
Right, and we've met and talked with, as Amy indicated, with New Horizons, Westerly. We've met with, I can't even tell you a number of residents while we were out surveying, informed them what's going on. We've had a handful of phone calls, and from our meeting, I think we ended up with 4 people showed up for our informational meeting. So I don't think, with my experience going, with all the meetings we've had on different projects, if people don't come, I think they're informed enough.
Sure.
You know, for the most part, it's not too controversial. They're getting a brand-new wider sidewalk that will be easier to maintain for them. So I think it's a viable, excellent project for us.
All right, thank you.
But just a clarification, these are replacement sidewalks?
Correct.
All the people who have a new sidewalk have an existing sidewalk in front of their house?
Correct.
They're just going to be wider by 2 feet, right?
Just going to be wider and new. That's it. You had a question?
Amy, go ahead. 2 others, since you're here. With respect to the bridge over Route 6, 2 questions. When the bridge hits Plainville, I was reading later in our packet that Farmington is going to construct improvements, but it's going to become Plainville. So I just wanted to
Correct.
understand what that meant, because I know the funding is from the state. So if you can just expand on what we're
Sure.
doing.
With our meetings, through our meetings with the state and the push to have the Canal Heritage Trail, Rails to Trails
Right.
system complete from New Haven up to Massachusetts, this is our last section of trail.
Right.
We're one of the few towns to be complete, which is an excellent marker for us. The bridge will cross Route 6, we'll get into Plainville. The state, we proposed, hey, we'll put the parking lot in Farmington because there is no trail technically along the rail in Plainville. And then they asked us, well, it doesn't really make sense, we came up with an agreement, if you build it, you pay for it, we'll build it. And we got the approvals from Plainville. And they offered to maintain everything in the town of Plainville.
Okay.
We were prepared to, seeing that we're getting $5 million to build this trail and a brand-new bridge, the extra 300 feet in a parking lot, I'll be honest, I was ready to just say, we'll maintain that. It's not going to be that much more burden for us, but Town of Plainville said they would maintain it because it's their push to get their section moving.
So what's happening once you hit, what's happening on the Plainville side? Like, what are they in
Not
the
much
process
right
of
now.
trying to?
The process is going, it's slow. They're working with, I forget the name of the rail right now, but the railroad said, okay, you can have this section of rail. Well, they're giving them the worst section. It's through the swamp. It'd be a huge environmental impact. So they're slowly moving, but it's really not going to go anywhere. I think their trail is going to be mainly on road. You'll go Northwest Drive down to Route 10 and
I
stay
know
on
the
Route
zigzag
10.
will do, but there won't
Exactly.
really be any trail.
I-
Okay.
I'm-
At this
right,
moment.
at this moment, it's very difficult, it looks like, because the railroad is just saying, you can have that last 20 feet, but that is, in the slope and through the swamps.
Okay.
So it'll be a difficult section to build.
And last question, how are we doing in the, sort of the Truffles, Parsons area? I think we were ahead of schedule last time?
Our work is complete for this year.
Okay.
We've paved, as you noticed, we've got the paving done. We have 6 laterals to connect on the north side.
Okay.
The DOT, and we've worked collectively and collaboratively with the DOT to get other work done. You'll see that we've excavated out for the poles along where the Schultz's house is. We added the temporary drainage bypass as part of our project. The biggest thing was the bypass, putting that bypass in now and getting the excavation ready for the new poles. It's saving all that time for next spring when the actual road contract is started. That contract bid is scheduled to be open next Thursday, is the 18th, whatever next Thursday, I think it's the 18th, whatever next Thursday is. And by us getting it done in our project saves 6 months or so in that project.
Okay.
So we're trying to keep the project as short of a window as possible. I know it's a lot of disruption right now, but I think in the long run, we've made great strides to get stuff done sooner than later.
And you're doing it throughout the night. I mean, I appreciate, as someone who happens to live in that area and drives there tonight, if you were working, I'd be in
They're
traffic.
not working.
You're not
No
working.
work tonight.
But no, I mean, I think everyone understands how tough it is, and the fact that you're doing it through the evening hours is huge. So,
tough.
so the timeline, when is it all going to be done? In the perfect world.
They're going to start next year. It'll be a 2-year project, and we're doing everything we can to keep it within those 2 construction seasons.
Because you know that question I get more than any other
Absolutely.
question.
I get it all the time as well, but we're trying, it could go into that 3rd season a little bit, but we're doing everything, and the DOT knows that we're pushing, we don't want it to go that far.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
Anything else? Okay. Thanks, Russ, again.
Thanks, Russ. And the other 2 items, one is that I'm just looking for...
Just before you scoot to the
yeah,
other item?
yeah.
I just want to say that, thank you for these reports, that it's clear, when you look at these reports, we see the amount of work that's being done by the town, by the employees in the town, which means there's an awful lot of work, Kathy, that you're organizing to get everything done. So this just shows us what's going on, and thank you. And it's a lot of work and a lot going on for good things in the town. So it's great. Thank you.
Just 2 other items. One is that I'm looking for consensus on the Jingle Bell Jubilee. They, as Meredith had mentioned, I think this is it their 3rd one? I think it's their 3rd. It's been a very successful event, and they're just looking for some police and also some highway, and then we work with them on some various other things, but that's internal with my office.
Okay, consensus for that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes? Jeff?
Yes.
Yes, because, thank you for inviting me to comment on that.
I was like, yeah, let it go.
Yes,
Go,
because
man,
this is I'm going to tell you why it's consistent. This is a town event. This is not an event put on by a private charity, an out-of-town organization. This is the town.
Okay.
Where we should be
I
spending our
appreciate the
money.
clarification.
And the last item is the water pollution control facility upgrade. Next month, we are, hopefully, if all goes well with the DEEP, we will be bringing our bid documents for approval. We did go out to bid, and the bids were open on October 8th, 2015. And we have recommended a low bid of C.H. Nickerson and Company, Inc. of Torrington, Connecticut at $57,480,600.
No relation.
No relation. No relation. Good to make a point of that. The Water Pollution Control Authority approved the bid and approved the additional cost at their November 4th meeting. We have to send, which we have already done, send the bid to the DEEP. We are looking for them to turn that over and give approval so we can get it on the December meeting. We'll have we'll have in detail at that meeting. We'll let you know that our bids did come in higher than expected. So that's a fact. The other thing which was good news, our grants came in higher than expected too. So we got notification from the state that the grants came in higher than expected. But we will have the entire bid package and our consultants and everyone to go through it at the next meeting. So that's where we are with that.
Any questions? I have a question. With any changes in funding or anything, it's all, the towns in Yukon, it's all proportionally done anyway, right?
Correct.
Always,
Yeah.
no matter what the
Yep.
end result is.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
Thanks.
And that's
well,
it for
thank
the
you.
manager's report.
Okay. Could I have a motion to accept the manager's report?
Motion to accept the manager's report.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Old business, none, new business.
Madam Chair, I move to authorize the acquisition of property owned by Joanne Perloff and the estate of Casimir Boykowski, located at 10A Slater Road, adjacent to Deadwood Swamp, approximately 2.60 acres, for no consideration in exchange for taxes due estimated to be $17,520.68 as of December 2015, subject to due diligence, including but not limited to a title search.
Second.
Kathy?
This is the last stage of this acquisition, and as you know, you have the map in front of you. It's just that small parcel, and it's for in lieu of taxes. And they did have an 8-24 report, which was received at the TPZ meeting, which was complete.
Any questions?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
All right.
Okay. And 2?
I move to authorize the acceptance of a gift of property owned by Tomaso Brothers, Inc., located at 3 Johnson Avenue.
Second.
Again, this is the last phase to accept this generous gift from the Tomaso brothers, and it is a benefit to own this parcel because it'll give the town more of a right-of-way with the workings of the new trail.
Any questions? I'd like to ask that we send a letter of thanks to the Tomaso family. It's very generous of them to be doing this and giving this to the town. So I would like to do that on behalf of the town.
Will do.
Thank you. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. And 3?
I move to authorize the town manager to execute a memorandum of understanding between the town of Farmington and the town of Plainville for for construction and maintenance of a portion of the Farmington Canal Heritage Greenway multi-use trail being built with Plainville's municipal boundary.
Second.
As Russ and Amy had spoke about, this is a memorandum of understanding that we'll sign with Plainville, that we will construct that portion of the trail to 2.4 miles, then it will be turned over to the town of Plainville.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, and 4?
I move to authorize the town manager to sign the agreement for consulting engineering services for the development of contract plans, specifications, and estimates for state project number 51-269, intersection improvements along South Main Street from New Britain Avenue to Farmington Avenue.
Second.
This is our New Britain Avenue project that we were talking about, and this is to select our design consultant. It was Malloom and McBroom, and we worked through the state process for that, and it's $282,596. The project is funded 80% federal, 10% state, and 10% by the town of Farmington. And the town of Farmington's portion of the design fee was budgeted previously in a capital budget. And this project includes the analysis and design for intersection improvements and new traffic control signals at the intersection of South Main Street and New Britain Avenue, Railroad Avenue, South Main Street and Mill Street, and South Main Street and Farmington Avenue.
Okay, any questions? Go ahead, John.
It's not a question, but a comment. This whole process where the state is allowing us to direct this activity
Much
is
better.
much, much better. Gets things going much faster, and obviously it's the same cost, it's just that they have different oversight. And both for the rails to trails and for this project, it's been really working well.
Yeah, the new process is, I agree, and I think Russ would agree, that it's working out much, much better. We do have more control, and we can move it much faster than the state ever moved the projects.
Right.
Any other comment? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. 5.
I move to approve the property tax refunds listed on agenda item N5.
Second.
Mike D'Amico. Any questions?
Yeah, to modify it.
Yeah. Modify number 6? No, just kidding.
Oh, $14. $14.09.
Gosh. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Okay. Executive session.
I move to adjourn the meeting to executive session as permitted by Connecticut General Statute, Section 1-225A, for the following purposes as allowed by Section 1-200, subsection 6.
Second.
And those people.
That attendance in the executive session shall be limited to members of the town council and the town manager at 7:52 PM.
Okay,
Second.
okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?